Where am I? My head. Merit? Anybody?
What's up, everyone? So let's talk about the Invincible today. This is an adventure walking sim from Starward Industries and 11-Bit Studios, and it is an adaptation of a 1964 Polish novel, also called The Invincible. I have not read the novel or had ever heard of it, so this was a very fresh story to me, and let's start out with that story here because there is a lot of it. So we control a character named Yasna who wakes up on a planet that she isn't aware of and also doesn't even know how she got there. And that begins this journey she must take to find her crewmates that she hopes are also on the planet somewhere, while also venturing a planet she doesn't know anything about and dealing with the potentially dangerous surroundings around her. This game was an interesting one for me. That was kind of a basic description of what this story is here, but there is a lot of story told through dialogue, and without kind of saying too much of what happens, there's a lot of voice work done from the actress who plays Yasna, and I both like that for story purposes, but I wasn't really the biggest fan of the choices here that were made for Yasna. I didn't really like her as a character too much, and I didn't really believe the reactions that she had to things happening to her. Fortunately though, that really wasn't the most important thing here, because so much of this game is centered around, the walking sim gameplay, and that's where this game shines the most. There are some gorgeous landscapes on this planet called Regis III, and it might not be the prettiest planet out there, and in general the game doesn't really have overly impressive graphics to show that off in the first place, but I don't think I would have noticed that as much if I hadn't just played games like Alan Wake 2 and Spider-Man 2, Jusant. Those are some of the best looking games I've played in a long time. So playing this right afterwards didn't feel super fair, but I think in many ways that kind of works well with this situation because we're basically viewing all of this from inside Yasna's helmet, and it gives a lot of that realism to the situation that she's in and that we're in here with her, being in her shoes. It really adds a lot to that experience of it, so I enjoyed that a lot. But although I did enjoy that and kind of walking around, finding clues to help try and find the crewmates, and using devices like scanners and sensors, and frequently opening and closing the map to know where we were and what was going on, or what direction we had to go in, of course, I think the planet starts to get dull very quickly. In sort of a weird realistic way again, where I appreciated the game design of this lifeless planet that would probably exist out there somewhere. But in the terms of entertainment value, I guess I was hoping for a little bit more because there's not so much going on. So it's kind of a weird back and forth feeling, mixed reaction, I suppose. But there are some really cool moments that happen here, and they happen just frequently enough that it keeps you interested, it keeps you engaged in wanting to keep going on, keep trekking on this journey because, something might happen. But it toes the line with that. It toes the line with your patience, and it's going to depend on the people. Some people will enjoy the slow pace of this game a lot. Some people will be like me, kind of in the middle, and then some people will get bored very, very quickly. And that's kind of the nature of walking sim games, so you kind of have to know that going into it. What I think they did really well here, though, were the flashbacks to let us in on more of who these characters are and how they ended up in this situation, and also a way for Yasna to kind of piece this big puzzle together and know what is going on. Actually, what's the real, the reality of the situation? What is the bottom line? What are we actually doing here? And I enjoyed that a lot. I think it added to the pace, it helped the pace of this story, of this game, and it also added to the narrative of everything going on. So I'm glad that they had that there. It kind of gave this feeling of a novel, actually. I think that's where it kind of shines, aside from, the gameplay. I think in story, that's where it really did shine the most. But ultimately, once I reached the end of this game and I was watching the credits roll, I couldn't help but feel still a little bit let down by it, because I never really got that payoff moment that I was hoping for. But even with that being said, the price point for this, the sort of 6 hours of gameplay from this, I had a relatively good time with it, even if it's a game that I will never play again after today, which I know can sound super harsh, but in this world of, endless games to choose from every single day, I think being chosen at all feels like a win to me. And, I think it's important to note that this game was interesting enough to me to be chosen, and I got to give them credit for that. But yeah, that's all I have for the Invincible. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoy the game if you decide to check this one out. Stay safe out there wherever you are, and I will see you all in the next one. So until then, everybody, take care.